Hey guys, welcome to the live stream. Let me see if I can bring trial in.
Please ask a question.
Yeah, I'm gonna get to it.
All right, starting bingo for real here with the magic 8-ball of idiocy that is Darrell Brooks. He shakes himself up, gives out a phrase that sounds like it means something, but it really doesn't. Let's see what he does next.
Any reason why you didn't give a written statement to law enforcement?
Objection, argumentative, irrelevant.
Grounds.
Argumentative.
Sustained. As to the form of the question. Next question, please.
That's one.
Did you at any time give a written statement to law enforcement?
I don't believe so.
Any reason why not?
Objection,
Grounds.
argumentative and irrelevant.
I got another grounds.
Grounds for the sustain.
Mr. Brooks, please ask your next question.
Grounds for the sustain.
I'm going to count that. Yep, grounds. I'm going to count that as the same since it's one part of one continuous stream of idiocy. Only count unique grounds for my card here. This witness has been owning this guy before I went into the live stream, a complete dunking, because he identified him in a positive way, saying, "You." I stared into your eyes. I know it's you.
You said you pulled up the police report at work the next day, right?
No, I pulled up your mugshot.
Well, you did say police report. Would that be fair to say?
You can answer that.
I just pulled up a mugshot.
You don't recall saying that you pulled up the police report specifically?
I specifically wanted to pull up the picture of the person that had committed those atrocities to see if that was the person that had cut through my yard.
Nice.
Which confirmed it was.
This guy's a great witness. It's very clear, very confident.
And did you pull up the complaint?
No,
Have you ever seen the complaint?
I don't believe I have.
Oh, have you seen a complaint? Did you file a complaint? It's very close, but not yet.
Have you yourself filed a complaint?
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Top right. I got two grounds and a
Any
file a
reason why
complaint.
not?
Objection,
Grounds.
irrelevant,
Sustained.
argumentative.
As to the form of the question and on relevance. Next question.
Do you recall who subpoenaed you to testify here today?
It's on the subpoena.
Again, this witness has completely
You don't
dunked on
recall?
this murderer.
I'd have to have a
Love this
subpoena
guy.
with me to read the name.
He's about
Do you
as
recall
good
if it
as
was
the
the
Ultra
district
King
attorney's
police
office?
officer
It
that
was.
testified last week that he shot at him and kept identifying him as you, which seems to throw Darrell Brooks, who doesn't understand
Do you recall
these
about
days what you means.
how long ago you received the subpoena?
You can answer that.
A month or two ago, a couple months ago. I got a subpoena, so that's all I know. And I had to show up at a certain time.
So you knew it was a possibility that you would be called to testify.
I had no expectation of the subpoena until I went to the DA's office.
Again,
So
before
you
the
went
live
to
stream
the
started,
DA's?
Brooks pretty much nailed all the bingo grounds
I know.
before
They
the witness came
asked-
on, but it didn't start until 10, so I've only got 3 boxes checked off on my card.
They want to see if you're worth having as a witness or if you actually had any information that was pertinent to the case.
I agree, center down, it's a layup. Doesn't have grounds, though, so that gives some
And
other...
so would it be fair to say that you
other
felt
lines
that
of
you
chance.
did?
I didn't know.
Grounds.
Another grounds, ladies and gentlemen.
I'll sustain as to the form of the question that strike the last response. Please
Top
rephrase.
right.
Did you feel that you had information that would be relevant to the matter?
That's an irrelevant question,
Grounds.
Your Honor.
Sustained. Next question, please.
Grounds for the sustain, Your Honor.
Should have had
Next
that on the
question,
card.
please.
Grounds
Maybe
for the
next time.
sustain, Your
Grounds for the sustain, Your Honor.
Next question, please.
Now he's in shock at this
Honor.
breach
That's
of.
judicial determination, Your Honor.
That'll be on the next card.
Ask your next question, please.
Everybody feels like that deputy behind Brooks right now. That's a great expression. It's like, what is happening in this universe?
When you went to the district attorney's office, do you recall whom you spoke with?
Good point about the card. I'll figure that out next time.
There's 3 or 4.
I can't even
people
believe
there.
I got this working. But I do have it posted on Twitter and on YouTube.
Recall their names. I recall their faces.
Oh, he said, would it be fair to say? Thank you.
You said you do recall the names, not the faces?
No,
I didn't mark it
recall
though,
their
so I'm
faces,
not going to mark it
their
late.
names.
But
Do
other
you see
people should
any
be
of
ahead of
those
me now.
district attorneys in court here today?
Good catch.
See
Bingo
one
card,
district
Ken.
attorney and one officer was in the room.
The Hubble telescope behind the DA there.
And for the record and for the jury, can you identify whom you're referring to?
I'd have to point. The,
I'll
Her,
stipulate,
yep.
Your Honor, I met
and
with Mr. Backler.
this officer here sitting behind them.
All right, so
Nice.
Yes,
this has
Detective.
pointed to
The DA solves this mystery.
Attorney Sue Apper and Detective Casey.
And that was around the time you first received the subpoena?
Yeah, I think you could fill a whole card up before
It was
lunch.
the time that the subpoena told me to show up.
Do you recall ever being told about the plaintiff in this matter?
Objection
Grounds.
vague.
Sustained as to the form of the question.
Do you know who the plaintiff is in this matter?
Objection
Grounds.
vague, beyond the
Grounds.
scope of the witness's knowledge, legally inaccurate.
Sustained as to the form of the question.
Definitely got a fresh grounds there. Do you know the plaintiff? Yeah, that's a separate one. Sweet.
Did Attorney Opper ever tell you who the plaintiff was in this matter?
The subpoena told me who the plaintiff was.
And do you recall who the plaintiff is?
Darrell Brooks.
Nice.
That's the plaintiff?
Or not the plaintiff, the plaintiff is.
From a technical legal perspective, this question is considered dumb.
And it'd
Really
be fair
dumb.
to say that that's not a living, breathing human being.
Objection
Grounds.
relevance.
Sustained. Not
I mean, the
relevant.
people you
Next
murdered
question.
aren't living, breathing either, idiot. Yeah, the grounds. The good tests have a whole card of just grounds.
Are you aware that only a living, breathing human being can make a claim?
That's dumb.
Objection
Grounds.
irrelevant.
Murder would never be
Grounds.
punished. Stupid.
Sustained for those reasons, and it's also not an accurate
It's
statement. of the law.
definitely not argumentative.
Mr. Brooks, under 90611, I need you to.
I've got all my
move on
grounds
to
filled
this
out.
topic
I've
and
used
ask
that
a
up.
Different line of questions, please.
Move on from what topic, Your Honor?
Next question, sir.
Can I know what topic you're referring to, Your Honor?
Yeah, it is all dumb.
Next question, please.
Next question, bro. Let's go.
If I don't know the topic, how would I know
Yeah,
to go in a
yeah.
different direction?
You got her
Mr.
there.
Brooks, under 90611,
Case
I need you to
dismissed.
ask a question.
Do you know if there's even a plaintiff in this matter?
Objection
Objection.
relevant.
Grounds.
Sustained. Under 90611, sir, please move on from this topic or I will declare your cross-examination closed.
Under what law and fact, Your Honor?
Under 90611, please ask a question.
And where can I find 90611?
This is your last opportunity to ask a question, sir.
Your Honor, the jury deserves to know this
Uh-oh.
information.
There it is. Jury
All right,
deserves to know this
then-
information.
The state, any redirect?
No redirect.
The
Thank you,
right
Judge.
side.
All right, thank you,
It's
sir. You
looking-
may step down.
Unexpectedly good. I got 3 there. I would have had subject matter if it started before 10.
State may call its next witness.
Have a good day. Yeah, he says dumb things like he doesn't know what she's talking about, even though it was explained to him a gazillion times from the get-go.
You may call.
The state calls Dominic Capruin.
All right, sir, if you would please make your way to
You
the
witness?
witness stand, which is on my right, up one riser. When you get there, please remain standing. Raise your right hand. My clerk Teresa, who's on
The
my
last
left,
witness
will
was
swear
great.
you in.
It was fantastic. Very confident, very clear. Didn't speak beyond what he knew. Loved him.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Please have a seat. First thing I will ask you to do is to state your first and last names for the record and then spell each.
Dominic Capruin, DOMANIC CAPROON.
All right, thank you. Go ahead, your witness.
Thank you. Mr. Capruin, are you a resident of the city of Waukesha?
Yes.
Where were you living on November 21st of 2021?
Let's get this party started.
17 Central Avenue.
The objection is overruled. His answer may stand. When there's an objection, if you would just wait until I rule on it before you answer. Thank you. Go ahead.
417 Central Avenue, Waukesha, Wisconsin.
Were you home on the
I think that's near where the last witness lived.
Sunday afternoon?
Central Avenue.
Overruled. His answer may stand.
What was the answer?
Yes. I believe is what he said.
Yes.
Yes.
Can you tell us what happened shortly before 5:00 p.m. that day?
Well, we were at home and my youngest son just got home from a friend's house.
You know that black t-shirt says Harley Davidson on it.
Um,
It's just which store.
ready to get water from Woodman's, and we
Were you outside or inside?
we were inside the house. Sorry.
Okay. Did you at some point make your way outside?
Yeah. We eventually decided to go, and we were bringing the jugs out to the truck, and
This guy's kind of nervous to start, but that's very understandable.
Tell us about the setup. Where was your truck parked?
my truck was parked by the back door, and the tailgate was facing the entry of the driveway.
So the truck was in the driveway?
Yes.
Okay. And what happened is you were also standing in the driveway.
When I was putting the jugs in the back of
All these decent, innocent people having to come in here and testify
son,
because this idiot won't plead guilty for what he knows he
looked
did.
up, and
It's the system.
he kind of pointed behind me, and I went turn, and Mr. Brooks was coming up the driveway, and
Mr. Brooks, you know what's
when
going to
I
happen
turned,
on Cross X, maybe before.
he kind of stopped, and I noticed that he wasn't wearing a jacket or shoes. Just
Could you tell us what he was wearing?
he was
Objection,
wearing
meeting.
Overruled. You may answer.
okay. He was wearing just a blue jeans and like a red t-shirt. And he had lifted his shirt and did a 360 and told me that he didn't have any weapons.
It's always good to do when you come over for a barbecue.
Needed a phone to call an Uber. And so I said, yeah, sure, no problem. So, I handed him my phone, and I had suggested to him that my neighbor was a Lyft driver. And
Way to burn down your neighbor, bro.
so we continued to, with the containers. And so I put the last one in, and he handed me my phone, and he turned the corner and
I don't think this guy will be able to stand too long.
wanted to see if he, got a hold of my neighbor, looked around the corner, and then he was gone. So
When Mr. Brooks lifted his shirt and did a 360 and said he was unarmed, were those the first words he said to you while you were in your driveway?
Objection leading, and I do not consent to being called that name.
Okay, we got the consent.
Overruled.
Second over on the second row.
Sure.
With
I
that,
think it was more or less.
I'm only subject matter jurisdiction away from bingo.
And how many?
And he did that before I started the stream, so I screwed up.
with you?
Objection relevancy.
Overruled.
All right, I got a relevancy. It's 4 on the middle. This is closing
How
in.
old were they at the time?
Objection relevancy.
Overruled. You may answer.
One was 21 and the other one was 14.
Do you recall providing a physical description of Mr. Brooks, the person you've referred to as Mr. Brooks today, back on November 21st when you met with the police?
Objection. I do not consent to being called that name.
Mr. Brooks, that's not a valid objection at this time. Go ahead, you may
I don't
answer.
consent to being called that name.
Go ahead and answer.
Yes. I'm sorry. Could you repeat the question?
Back on November 21st, when you met with the police, did you provide a physical description of the man who came up your driveway?
Yeah.
Objection relevancy.
Overruled.
That's a good point. What could
What was the
the relevance of the actual suspect's appearance possibly be?
It was a black male, mid-30s at the time, dreadlocks, tied up in a band. He had tattoos. One I noticed above his right eye, and some he had on his arms.
This guy's nerves are settling down a little bit. He's doing a good job.
So,
So
He's just saying what he knows.
prevented you from being able to see any detail of the arm tattoos?
yes.
Objection leading.
Overruled.
Your Honor, could you please instruct Mr. Brooks to remove his mask momentarily?
Here he comes.
Mr. Brooks, please remove your mask and look at the witness.
He did not consent there. Sometimes he does.
The person you've
Sometimes he
described
doesn't.
today is walking up your driveway, the person who you've referred to as Mr. Brooks today. Do you see that person in the courtroom today?
Objection leading.
Overruled. You may
I
answer,
consent
sir.
to being called that name either.
Yes.
Could you please point to him and then tell us what he's wearing?
He's wearing a suit and tie.
Your Honor, let the record reflect, please, that the witness has identified.
To regroup, I've got 4
The
or
record will still reflect.
2 lines diagonal, 1 across with 4
And then
marked
point
in.
his right hand towards Mr. Brooks.
And I think I've missed a couple, so somebody's got to beat me in this. Don't let me win.
For the record.
Whose phone, you described handing a phone to Mr. Brooks. Whose phone was it?
Objection. I don't consent to being called that name.
Your objection is noted, although it's not legally relevant at this time.
I feel bad for this guy
And
too,
ask that you
and
not
everybody
interrupt.
who's had to testify, particularly the people in the parade who had to recount
Reasons.
people they knew or people close to them that were
Go
injured or
ahead,
killed in
Judy,
this. It's
with
just
your question
awful.
again.
Called that name.
It's awful.
Whose phone was it that you handed to the man in your driveway?
That was my fault.
And did you see what that man did with the phone?
Objection leading.
Overruled. You may answer.
He called a number on the phone or called somebody, which I at the time thought was Uber.
Did that man then
Interesting.
hand the phone back to you at some point?
Yes.
When you met with the police, did they ask to see your phone?
Yes.
And the purpose of that was to try and see the number that
Yes.
Mr. Brooks had called?
That's good.
Objection.
Overruled.
No consent to being called that name.
This could be hearsay. For
Yes.
real. Depends on how they do it.
Witness only, exhibit number 74.
The granny was awesome. She was spectacular. I hate what she went through. Relevancy, if you haven't marked that off yet.
Grounds.
Grounds, if you got any
It's
left,
relevant.
it's relevant.
Mr.
right?
Capruin, do you see a photograph on the screen in front of you?
Yes.
What are we looking at here?
This is the number that,
This dude looking at a screen is like me trying to look at a screen.
Can
I
you
feel
read that
that.
number out loud for us?
I'll put him on the spot.
Objection. Relevancy.
Overruled.
You can do it.
414-610-2153.
Do not call that number.
And this is a call history screenshot, is that right? Or we can see all the recent calls to and from that number?
Yes.
Is this an accurate depiction of how your phone screen looked that afternoon as you showed it to the police?
Objection. Leading.
Overruled. You may answer, sir.
About whether
Yes.
Brooks can fluster this witness. Maybe. I think he'll tighten up a little bit with Brooks, but the DA has room to be more aggressive to protect these
Exhibit
witnesses
74
than
is
they have
received.
so far.
Permission to publish
We'll
is
see if they do.
granted. The objection's overruled.
There's only so much knowledge this guy has. It's kind of like the last guy, it seems like, so far at least.
Can you zoom in on the bottom half of this photograph? Okay, Mr. Capruin, did you call this number at any point?
Objection. Leading.
Overruled. He may answer.
No.
So all three of these calls, outgoing, incoming, and canceled, would have been made by someone other than you.
Yes.
Objection. Leading.
And the only person who had your phone during that time frame was who?
Objection, my car already has an extended warranty,
Or
Overruled.
Derek, Mr. Brooks.
so I would never use my phone for phone calls.
After Mr. Brooks handed you your phone back, what happened next?
A lady had called me, and I answered the phone. And
That's no lady.
I asked her if she was Uber, and she told me
She said, "Uber what?"
wasn't an Uber.
Did she say anything else?
Objection. Leading.
Overruled.
No.
Is the call that you're talking about, the lady who called you, was that incoming call from that 414 number we just looked at?
Objection. Leading.
Sustained as to the form of the question.
Did you recognize the number that called you?
I didn't recognize it. I didn't look at the number. I just answered the phone.
And it was
Good,
recorded in
honest
your
answer.
phone's call history,
Yes.
and it was the same number that Mr. Brooks had used your phone to dial.
Objection.
Objection. Leading. And I don't consent to being called that name.
Overruled. I'm sorry, I took the exhibit down. Did you need it back up?
No, I think we're done.
All right, thank you.
And that was a yes, just to be clear.
Yes.
Did Mr. Brooks leave at some point?
Objection. I don't consent to being called that name.
Yes.
Did you see what direction he went when he left?
I like how when he objects, he doesn't consent to being called that name. He's admitting he's the guy they're talking about, or else why object?
Part of
Maybe
my
they're talking
property,
about some other Mr. Brooks if you aren't
heading
Mr.
more
Brooks.
westerly towards my neighbors.
Do you know what street he was headed, or he appeared to be headed toward?
Objection. Speculative.
Overruled. You may answer, sir.
Was that on there? Speculative?
Well, Central
Should have
Avenue
been.
was an L Street, and
Maybe the
he
next one.
was heading towards Central.
Thank you, Your Honor, that's all.
Yeah, short exam. That's
All
fine.
right, very well. Any questions, Mr. Brooks, for this
Yes.
witness?
Yes,
I don't consent to being called that name for the
Hmm.
record.
for the record.
Do you
Okay, that's
recall-
on there. I got that for the record. Should have had that earlier.
Giving
Sure.
a statement to a Detective Schwartz.
I'm not sure what his name was.
I'm referring to Detective Mandy L. Schwartz. That would be a woman.
There
Who
was
knows?
a female, yes.
And do you recall giving a statement to the woman law enforcement officer?
Yes.
Do you recall if that was the same night or days?
This poor guy's got about 5
Immediately
minutes more of this, and then
It
he can go
was the
back
same
home
night.
after doing his duty.
And do you recall in that statement if you were asked about a description of the person in your driveway?
Yes.
Do you recall what you said?
Yes.
May you state it for the record and for the jury?
Yes.
Let's go. Do it.
Black male, 30s, dreadlocks, red shirt, jeans, no shoes, no jacket.
Nice.
If it pleases the court,
You're almost
I
there.
have the statement here. And
If
I
it
would like
please
to
the
show
court.
the witness.
That's close to, with all due respect, but not quite.
I'm guessing whatever statement he gave to Detective Shorts.
I'm guessing.
Is it a written statement?
That's a good foundation.
I don't know if it's a
You don't
written
know if it,
statement.
I'm looking at this written statement, Your Honor. How can I know if it's written? How can I know if this
Maybe-
typed
maybe-
paper
Would
is
this be the
written, Your
police
Honor?
report? If it's not his written statement, then I'm gonna deny that request.
That's all.
Make the
It is.
question.
Give it a shot.
Do you recall in your report with Detective Shorts
Somebody's ultra-based grandmother is on the far right of the
that you
screen,
described the male as
floating head over the
approximately
box.
5'5" to 5'6", weighing approximately 120 to 125 pounds, and the male appeared to be in his 20s?
Yeah, I don't recall.
Any reason why this report would say that, and then when you were asked the description, you gave a different description? The reason why the two would conflict?
Objection,
Grounds.
argumentative, and
Grounds.
misstates the evidence.
Sustained.
Anybody got any ground left? There's your chance. Reason for the sustain. It's not on the
Sustained
card,
is
but it should be.
the question. And it misstates the testimony in part.
Thank you, Judge.
Well, I'm reading from the report that was given to the detective.
And you can't testify as to what that report says. You can only question the witness.
Logic dunk occurring right now.
Do you recall?
He said he did not recall. Next question.
I can't close this one out. If this thing goes to break, which I don't think will last that long, we
Any
would get a
reason why
subject matter
your,
jurisdiction again, I
description
think.
would change from that night to now?
Just say, I don't know, or no. It's okay.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's fine. He does feel nervous. I feel bad for the guy.
You made reference to when the male that was in your driveway left your driveway, they went towards Central, I think is what you did. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah.
Would that be fair to say? If you didn't have it marked off, knock it
Do
off.
you recall
Oh, there it is.
stating
I got it.
your report that they went in the direction of West Avenue?
Yes.
Would it be fair to say that that's two different directions?
Yes.
Any reason why that would change from then till now?
Doing fine. Couple more minutes. This will be over. sure that that's showing up, but it's close. This is a better card than I thought. I thought it would be over by now. Nice. Good cross-exam flow.
And you made reference to it being kind of dark, so it was a little hard to tell about certain aspects of that interaction. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
Come on, let's let this guy go home.
Would you say it was dark or dusk?
Dusk.
So it'd be fair to say that you were unable to identify tattoos?
He said he saw one that he paid attention to, I think. But some of them not.
I would be able to, yes.
You would be able to identify tattoos, or you wouldn't?
Not, I saw tattoos.
This guy will be back on his Road
But
King
you
in just a
couldn't
few
make
minutes.
out because
He'll be
of
gone
the
soon.
lighting, you couldn't make them out. Would that be fair to say?
I could make out tattoos.
Do you recall
So there you go.
stating that you were not able to identify the tattoos?
In, I guess, in description, I guess, or in detail, sorry.
This guy's nervous. He's innocent. Brooks is too dumb to know that he should be nervous.
And not being able to make out in detail would be referring to the tattoos on the arms.
Yes.
See, I'm not sure if Brooks is trying to say, well, you can't prove it was me driving it, or it was me driving it, but there was something wrong with the truck and it was a horrible accident. I'm not sure what he's trying to do with these witnesses. He seems sometimes to have contradicting theories of defense,
During that interaction in the lighting, you could tell that there was
not
some
including
type
his
of rubber
sovereign
band or tie
citizen
in the hair.
nonsense.
Yes.
DA with the giant watch.
Do you recall what color that might have been?
No, I don't.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think I think Brooks thought when he fired his attorneys that he was going to get this trial delayed.
You made
I think his
reference
mother
to
gave an interview to that
a
effect.
number calling you back and you
It
not
didn't happen, and here we are.
looking at the number, but just answering. Do you recall stating that?
Yes.
Did you ever at any time ask who that was that called?
I just asked if
See what this guy
it was
says.
the Uber driver.
He also says things out of cases sometimes that mirror language of not being competent to represent yourself, but then he contradicts that by explaining things in the law and at least doing reasonable cross exams. They're stupid. His theories are stupid, but he's aware of what he's doing. He doesn't have to be good at it. He just has to understand it and participate in it, which that's what he's doing. I mean, he's clearly
You
guilty.
stated that
So-
your sons were with you in the driveway.
He needs to go to jail.
Yes.
Get this over
Was
with.
there any interaction with your sons at that time?
If he did have a theory of, well, this was a horrible accident. He's not been consistent with that in talking to witnesses, because I have not seen him demonstrate empathy or sympathy to the people who were injured and killed as he's cross-examined the people who were directly there during the
Do you
incident.
recall
He doesn't
stating
care.
that
He didn't care when he did it. He does not care now.
the male did not have any interactions with either of your sons?
For whatever reason, he's completely soulless.
No.
I know he's got his tattoos on his knuckle. It's a shame he wasn't more forward thinking, because he could have put grounds on there and then just hold up the fist at all times and be a constant on the record objection.
Do you recall stating that the male you had the interaction with? Do you recall stating that
This guy is nervous, but Brooks
not
super
really
slow at
he
cross
was
exam.
understanding what you were telling him?
It isn't accomplishing anything. He's not able to get this guy to backtrack because he's so slow asking questions.
I don't understand the question.
Good answer. I don't understand it either.
That would be in reference to you stating that your neighbor was an Uber driver, did you? Or a Lyft driver, you was, I think the word you said. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
Would that be fair to say?
And you stated that you don't recall if the individual went to your neighbor's house at that time. That'd be fair to say?
Yes.
See, I would say it's not fair to say it, because it's not fair for you to say anything to me. Is it accurate? Maybe different. But I like it when a witness is giving some clap back, like the guy before this guy was really dunking on our friend Darrell, I think is what he prefers to be called. Was getting dunked on constantly by the first witness. The guy was great.
And do you recall about what time of the evening that was when you had the interaction?
I'm not quite sure what time.
Fine answer.
Time.
No problem. Don't make it up if you don't know. I would not have imagined there wouldn't be bingo by now. But part of this is it's going so slow at this point.
Do you recall around what time you were subpoenaed to testify?
I've got I know anyone by that name would get me across the middle, but Admiralty Court or subject matter jurisdiction could do it too.
No, I think
He's going to come
the
back
letter
around
came
to,
in July.
do you know the plaintiff and all that stupid stuff?
And did you follow up with the district attorney's office at that point?
Yes.
Do you recall whom you spoke with?
Not quite sure the names, but
You made let the record reflect, you made a hand gesture with your left hand. Would
Let
that
the
be
record
referring to the
reflect.
table?
Not quite for the record.
Prosecution table?
yes.
I'm not giving myself that one.
So you recall speaking to one of those attorneys?
Yes.
Do you recall whom?
That one.
Gentleman here.
The gentleman.
Mr. Capruin pointing at me.
Yeah.
Stipulation nation. Basic duty box. Who's going to win this thing? Down to the wire.
And at any time, did you ever see a police reporter or complaint in this matter?
No.
Did you ever yourself make a claim in this matter?
That's good for did you file a complaint in this matter if you didn't have that?
Don't understand the question.
No one does. He's just
Did you
crazy.
file a claim?
Um, I don't understand the question.
Fair. Very fair. It's stupid.
Did you yourself file a complaint with law enforcement?
No.
The mic's messing up. I'll check that. I can't believe it's actually working at all.
Ever spoke with the plaintiff in this matter?
Here it goes.
Grounds.
Relevance.
Grounds.
Sustained.
Grounds for the sustain, Your Honor.
The substain. Grounds for the substain.
Are you aware of any plaintiff in this matter?
Objection.
Grounds.
Relevance.
Grounds.
Sustained. Relevance 90611 as well.
Do you know the plaintiff? I'd already marked that one off.
You ever seen a plaintiff in this matter?
Objection.
Grounds.
Sustained. Next question.
Had any conversations or any interactions with the plaintiff?
Objection.
Grounds.
Sustained is to the form of the question.
Ever
Ridiculous.
had a phone conversation with the plaintiff?
Objection.
Grounds.
Sustained is to the form of the question.
It's about time to tell him to move
Ever
on.
been contacted by the plaintiff in any way?
Objection.
Grounds.
Sustained is to the form of the question.
Have you ever contacted the plaintiff in any way?
Objection.
Grounds.
Sustained.
Grounds for the sustain, Your Honor.
Grounds for the substain.
Form of the question.
Ridiculous. Come on. Let this guy go. There are people dumb enough to believe the sovereign citizen stuff about court. There are people that dumb. I don't know if this guy is or not, or if he's just doing it as part of his performance. I am not
Have
sure.
you followed this matter in any way?
You followed it
No.
in any way. Imagine having to sit there while a mass murderer asks you questions as dumb as this.
So it'd be fair to say you didn't seek to testify in this matter. That'd be fair to say?
Sure.
Yes.
He's thinking about his
Were you
answers, and that's
persuaded in
good.
any way to testify in this matter?
No.
Persuaded by the subpoena.
Did you prepare in any way to testify in this matter?
No.
Yeah, you did. He wore a button-up shirt over your Harley T-shirt. That's getting ready for it. That's doing the right thing. Let this guy go home. He's very slow
And
with this
before
guy.
you
The
were
guy
shown
dunked on him was
exhibit
gone already.
74, and that was the call log of your phone, correct? Before, I'm sorry,
Yes.
before today, had you seen that, those photos in reference to your call log?
Yes.
You seen them before today?
Repeat his
Yes.
question. He can't believe the guy said yes.
Do you
Yeah.
anticipate
My
seeing
Harley
him today?
t-shirts, they don't ever last long for whatever reason.
Yes.
How so?
Um, mm, through the sorry,
I had this guy peg Road King
Through,
earlier, but I could see Street Glide.
the district attorney.
So you were informed that you would see those same photos by the district attorney?
Yes.
Well, if this is what you've watched this trial so far, this
Were you
is
at any
unusually
time-
slow. The first witness
Were
this
you at
morning,
any
he was
time
really
told what
good,
to say by the district attorneys?
but this is just dumb and
No.
slow here. They did have pretty sweet arguments before I started streaming with all the subject matter stuff. I didn't get it on my card, so I didn't want to cheat. But he was doing his usual lunacy before 10 o'clock.
And are you even aware of a plaintiff in this matter?
What?
Objection.
Grounds
Sustained.
for the sustain, Your Honor.
I previously sustained it.
Do you
Next
even
question.
lift, bro?
Grounds for the sustain, Your Honor.
Next question. Under 90611, please continue.
90611.
Otherwise, I'll declare the cross-examination
You
ended.
you can declare whatever you want to. No
Dang.
further questions.
Dang.
Thank you.
Do whatever you want.
Very briefly, thank you, Judge. Mr. Capruin, I just want to clarify the geography of your neighborhood, okay?
Little redirect.
So back where you were living on November 21st of last year,
Let this
on
guy
Central
go.
Avenue,
Zoom in.
does Central
Pan.
run east to west, north to south, or something else?
Objection, leading.
Overruled. You may answer, sir.
Central runs east and west and north and south.
What direction does it run where you were living at the time?
Objection, leading.
East and west.
Hold on.
Overruled. It's not leading. You may answer.
Now answer.
Relevancy.
It's relevant.
Now object.
You may answer, sir.
Now answer.
East and west.
And then where does it change and run north and south?
Objection, relevancy.
Overruled.
It changes,
I don't think they needed to do this redirect. I mean, come on.
and then it turns north and south.
That happens to the west of where?
Yeah, he's been acting up a lot when the jury's
His
out.
answer may stand.
And then he's been, over the last few days, carrying that into the,
Where is
when the
West
jury's
Avenue
entering the
in
room, he'll
relation
continue
to
his
where
arguments
your
to make it
house
seem
was?
like the judge is doing something bad to him. Oh, the jury deserves to know. They need to know this, Your Honor.
West.
That sort of nonsense. Yeah.
So is it fair to say
He hasn't gone
that
ballistic
if
with the
you're
jury
standing in
yet,
your
from what I've seen.
driveway at the time and head west, you would hit where Central Avenue turns, and then if you kept going, you'd hit West Avenue?
Objection, leading.
Overruled.
Yes.
Yes.
So is it also fair to say that if you're heading toward Central Avenue, you're also heading toward West Avenue?
Objection, leading.
Overruled.
Yes.
You recall meeting with myself and colleagues here a few weeks ago?
Objection, relevancy.
Overruled.
I mean, you asked him about it on cross-exam.
Here.
In the courthouse?
No.
During business hours?
Objection, relevancy.
Overruled. You questioned him about meeting with the prosecution. These are proper.
I didn't question him about the time.
Stupid.
It's proper redirect. Go ahead, sir. You may answer.
Yes.
Look at him.
We discussed your potential testimony, is that right?
Yes.
Were we asking you questions about November
The worst
21st?
dumb people are the ones who don't know that they're dumb, like Brooks.
Overruled. You may answer.
He actually thinks he's doing something
Yes.
clever there, it
We
seems
showed
like.
you that the photograph of the call log, right?
Yes.
And you had an independent recollection. You had seen that call log before because it's from your own phone.
Objection, leading.
Sustained as to the form of the question.
Nice.
Have you ever seen that photograph before?
Yes.
Yeah.
And had you ever looked at
So
your
remember
phone
at the
screen
beginning of the
before?
case, he did not make an opening statement, and I thought that he
Not
would,
reading
and we'd
is
kind of hear
relevant,
what his
and
whole
you may
story's
answer.
going to be, but he deferred it. So after the
Um,
state stops, I think he has a chance
Yes.
then to do it, whether he
Did
decides to or
we,
not.
at any
And
time,
that would give him
give
a
you
chance to
script
just
for your
talk
testimony today?
Objection.
in a statement form to the jury.
Across.
It'd be
Um,
interesting to
it's
see what his
redirect.
lunatic
It's proper.
defense
You
will
may
be.
answer. It's overruled.
No.
Stop this redirect. Let him go.
Thank you, Your Honor. That's all we have.
That's it.
All right, thank you, sir. You may step down.
All right, we're 2 witnesses in, and we don't have a bingo. That's
Statement
shocking
calls
to me.
next witness.
Thank you. The state calls Aaron Cordes.
Mm, mm, mm. That was a non-exciting cross by Brooks. Even with a nervous witness, he really didn't have anything there to go
Good
at it
morning.
at.
If you would please make your way to the witness stand, which is on my right. It is up one riser. When you
One
get there,
riser.
please remain standing and raise your right hand. My clerk, Teresa, who's on my left, will swear you in.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you. Please be seated. First thing I will ask you to do is to state your first and last name.
Wow, they
for the
still say,
record
so
and
help you
spell.
God up there.
Erin Cordes, first name
It's old school.
E-R-I-N,
I like it.
last name Cordes, C-O-R-D-E-S.
Thank you. Go ahead, your witness.
Thank you. Good morning, Ms. Cordes.
Good morning.
Ma'am, I'd like to direct your attention to the date of November 21, 2021. Did
Okay.
you attend the Waukesha Christmas parade that afternoon?
Yes, I did.
And who did you attend the parade with?
My husband and my 2 children.
Do you recall from what location you watched the parade?
Objection. Relevancy.
Overruled. She may answer.
Yeah, how could it be relevant
We
where
watched
she
it
watched the
from
parade
corner
from?
of
Yeah,
West and Wisconsin.
he's just
Okay.
an 8 ball of
And,
idiotic phrases and objections.
Do you
Shake
understand
him
that
up,
to be
see
near
what he
the
says.
end of the parade route?
Objection. Leading.
Overruled. She may answer.
I believe it was close to the end. The parade rounded the corner and continued on, and I don't know exactly where it ended.
Okay. And as you were at that location watching the parade, did something unusual happen?
Yes,
Objection. Leading.
murdering idiot showed up.
Yes, we saw a car going pretty fast around the corner. And I remember my husband said, that's not part of the parade. Grab the kids.
People in Wisconsin apparently call SUVs cars. Brooks likes to quibble over that.
And the car just did not stop and kept going.
Was there a police officer present at that corner?
Yes, there was.
What did you see the police officer do?
Well, the car, I thought it was coming at us for a minute, but it ended up swerving and going through the barricades, and the police officer fired 3 shots at the vehicle.
Dang.
You were standing right there at that intersection.
Yes, I was.
So that's the king that testified on
Was
Friday.
noted. It's overruled.
And dunked
Her
on
answer may
Brooks.
stand. Next question. Go ahead.
What did you do after that, ma'am?
Well, we ran up to the house behind us as the car was coming at us. And I was just kind of keeping an eye out for the car at the time because it looked like it was out of control and I didn't know if it was going to go up to the house we were at or what direction.
Wonder
it
if
was
she's
going.
gonna be
So
able
we
to
just stayed by
ID
the
him.
house for a little bit.
That
just in
usually
shock
is what the
Okay.
fireworks
after that happened.
Okay.
are about.
And at some point, did you decide to leave the area?
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Where did you go?
We were parked a little bit further away because we had gotten to the parade late. So we were parked a few blocks out of the way on Elizabeth Street
Okay.
at Aries Industries.
Do you have some familiarity with Aries Industries?
Shout out to Aries Industries.
Relevancy.
Overruled. She may answer.
They make some of the finest products.
If there is an objection, wait until I rule on it before you answer.
Okay.
Thank you. Go ahead.
And what's your familiarity with Aries Industries?
Objection.
Overruled.
My husband is employed at Aries Industries.
Do you happen to know the address of that location?
Objection. Relevancy.
Overruled.
Do you have a discount
I
code?
don't offhand, no.
Do you know what street it's on?
Objection. Relevancy.
Overruled.
Leading.
It's not leading. Overruled. You may answer.
Yes, Elizabeth Street.
Okay. And how were you able to, I'll strike that.
She doesn't want to get caught with
Walking
leading.
back to Aries Industries, that's where you had parked. right?
Correct.
What was your route or your path that you took?
We continued straight on West Avenue until we got to Elizabeth Street and then took a right on Elizabeth Street.
Okay. Pretty much a straight shot,
Yes.
just a couple blocks
Yes.
down West Avenue, and then you hang a right on Elizabeth.
Correct.
Okay. As you were doing that, making your way back to your car, did you encounter somebody out on foot?
Yes, we did.
Tell us about that, please.
Objection, leading.
Overruled, sir.
We had just rounded the corner to Elizabeth Street and Darrell Brooks. We ran into
Nice.
Darrell Brooks. He came out of the shadows between a
Out
couple
of the
houses
shadows.
and approached us.
Okay.
She is going to dunk on him.
Person by name. Did you know Mr. Brooks prior to this encounter?
No.
Okay. Never met him before.
Correct.
Objection.
And you said he,
Hold on.
I'm sorry.
The objection came after her answer. Her answer will stand. Next question.
You said he kind of came out of, did you say the bushes?
Objection.
What did you say?
Objection.
Oh, overruled. She rephrased. He may answer. She may answer. I'm sorry.
It appeared he came from between two houses. So I don't know exactly where he was.
Okay. And did you notice his appearance when he approached you?
Objection, leading.
Overruled.
God.
Yes, I did.
What did you notice?
I just remember it was a very windy, cold night, and he was dressed pretty inappropriately for the night. I noticed he was visibly shivering. He had a red short sleeve t-shirt on and was not wearing shoes.
This queen is dunking on him. I like it.
Do you see the same person present in this courtroom?
Yeah.
today?
Of course I do.
Yes,
That nut sitting over there.
I'm going to ask that Mr. Brooks be instructed to remove his mask and look at the witness so she can
Look at her
properly identify.
while she dunks on you.
Brooks, please unmask and look at the witness.
He's not recognizing that name,
Sir,
of
would you
course.
please unmask and look
I
at the
am.
witness? Thank you.
Writing something down.
All right,
Oh,
thank you.
yeah,
Just want to
wow.
make sure you heard me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
This isn't a guy who gets upset at people.
That's the gentleman you encountered on the street that you're describing for us, ma'am?
Yes, it is.
Did Mr. Brooks speak to you in any way?
Objection. I do not consent to being called that name.
Thank you for confirming it was you who
Yes, he did.
was asking
What
about
did he
who
say?
was present. Then thank you.
Objection, leading.
Overruled.
He asked if either of us had a phone that he could use.
This dude
And-
wanted to use
and
everybody's
we
phone
said- We hesitated because
because he's
it
been
was
murdering nuts.
strange. It was a strange encounter. And after what we just witnessed at the parade, where I think we're both pretty much on edge at that point. So,
I'm sorry to interrupt you. When you're referring to we, who are you referring to?
sorry, my husband and I.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead. So he asked for the phone,
Correct.
you kind of pause,
Yep.
and then what do you do?
And
Objection,
then
leading.
Overruled. Go ahead, you may answer.
his next words were, "I'm not going to hurt you. I just need to use your phone." And that's when I gave him my phone.
Okay.
He tries to not kill more than 6 people a day.
Did he use your phone? Did you see him manipulate your phone in some fashion?
Objection. What do you mean by manipulate?
Overruled. She may answer.
So what was the question?
Did you see him use your phone in some way?
Yes, I did.
What did you see him do?
Objection, leading.
Overruled. You may answer.
Come on.
He called his mom.
Could you hear what he was saying on his end?
Yes, I could hear what he was
His
saying.
mom is named
Did you hear
Uber.
the responses being provided by the person on the other end of the phone?
Objection. Speculative.
Overruled. You may answer.
No, I could not hear the other side of the conversation.
Okay.
So
Tell us to the best of your
Yes.
memory.
What did this
you
nut
remember Mr. Brooks was saying into the phone.
Objection. I don't consent to being called that name.
thank you for admitting it was you calling your mom. Thank you. Thank you.
He just kept asking his mom to call him Uber. And he wasn't responding to anything that she was asking. He just kept repeating, "Call me an Uber. I need an Uber now."
Did he sound urgent in his voice?
Objection, leading.
Sustained is to the form of the question.
How did his voice sound?
There was a sense of urgency that he needed an Uber and he needed it now.
Yep.
And he was specifically referring to the person he was speaking to by what name?
Mom.
Objection, leading.
Overruled. She will answer. Her answer will stand.
At some point, Did Mr. Brooks turn his attention to you and ask a question to you as he was still on the phone?
Objection, I don't consent to being called in that.
But thank you for confirming it was
Question and
you.
answer.
He asked for the address where we were located at the time.
What did you tell him?
I did not know the address, so I asked my husband what the address was, and he provided the answer.
Okay. And again, you're very close to your husband's workplace.
We were actually in the parking lot at that time.
Okay.
Nice.
I'm gonna, well, let me ask you this. At some point, did he terminate his phone call?
Objection.
No, he's still on the phone.
Overruled. You may answer.
Yes, he did.
And what happened then?
He said that he was free and he if I any place that he would go warm up. So my husband
Jail.
directed him towards the lobby of Aries.
Jail is a great place to warm up.
Did he return your phone, did he return your phone to you?
Yes, he did.
Okay. And, did you see if he left your presence, where did he go?
Objection, leave.
Overruled.
He went up to the lobby.
You saw that?
Yes.
Okay. Where did you go?
We were pretty on edge at that point, so we put kids in the car as quickly as possible and drove down the road.
She's doing a great job of testifying.
Show you, so.
She's staying with
exhibits
what
on
she
the
knows.
Screen in front of you, okay? First.
She sounds confident in what she knows. It's clear. It's a good witness.
Do you see a photograph on the screen in front of you, ma'am?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Do you recognize anybody or
Objection.
any place in that photograph?
Objection, leave.
Overruled.
I recognize the Aries building in the background and Darrell Brooks on the porch.
171's previously been admitted, Your Honor. I'm going to request permission to publish again.
Let's see it.
All right.
It's noted. It's overruled. It's already been received.
Ms. Cordes, that's a touch screen in front of you. Could you just please point out Aries Industries and specifically, if you can, the area where you saw Mr. Brooks head for the lobby of the building?
Objection, I don't consent to being called in there again.
Jury will disregard that last comment by the defendant.
So do you want me to circle?
Yeah, circle or X.
There he is.
It's-
Whatever.
It's way in the other corner over here, so it's hidden by the trees.
Okay. So the area where you first encountered Mr. Brooks, is that actually shown in this photograph?
Objection, I don't consent to being called in there.
Jury will disregard that comment.
I don't consent.
If, do not consent, he said that
Go
specifically.
ahead and answer, ma'am.
It's more over here where we were parked. There's a second parking lot.
I need him to say, nor do I know anyone by that name.
The person in the photograph?
That
you
for
said
subject
the
matter
person, please?
jurisdiction. The likely candidates to win this thing, I
Is
think.
that what Mr. Brooks looked like that evening when you spoke to him?
Objection, I don't consent to being called in.
Thank you for
Go ahead and answer.
confirming it's you.
Yes.
Now we're gonna put up exhibit 76. And we're gonna play it for you first, before it gets shown to the jury, okay?
Okay.
So let me know when it's up, please. Okay, thank you. For the record, this is a clip that's 53 seconds long. I'm just gonna play maybe the first 10 seconds or so and see if she recognizes.
Again, she's done a good job as a witness.
Played about the first 10 seconds of that clip. Do you recognize the what's shown in this video, ma'am?
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
You recognize it to be,
It's the lobby of Aries Industries.
okay? And
How could that be me? I have short hair now.
is this the door
Exactly.
that you directed Mr. Brooks to?
Objection, I don't consent to being called in there.
Thank you for admitting it.
You
You were
answer, ma'am.
directed to the door. Thank you.
Yes.
Do you believe this video is a true and accurate depiction of the events of November 21 of 21?
Yes, I do.
Move to
Your-
admit 76 and permission to publish, Your Honor.
I believe there was an objection. It's noted. It's overruled. Exhibit 76 is received and permission to publish is granted.
The witness wasn't there in this video. How can it be, brother?
Your objections noted, sir.
We're gonna play it in its entirety, Your Honor. As soon as the jury's got it. They got it. Okay.
Interesting. Let's see it. Visitor entrance. Okay. And what? Here it comes. Objection. The door was locked.
Okay, we can pause it at the 39-second or 40-second mark. I said we'll play the whole thing, but did you see a person approach the doors to the building during the video?
Yes, I did. I saw Darrell Brooks approach the door.
And is that consistent with what you saw that night as you watched Mr. Brooks?
Yes.
Objection, I don't consent to being called that name.
And now that you look at the door, see the holding the door.
Yes, I do.
Objection. It's backwards.
550.
Does that sound right?
Yes.
No bingo
Thank you. I
yet.
don't have any other
I've got
questions.
All right.
2 ways to get it with just
Mr.
one
Brooks,
more.
questions for you. Let me cross, sir.
I don't consent to being called that name.
Wait.
For the record.
Your cross, please.
I need him to say, nor do I know anyone by that name or subject matter jurisdiction. He hasn't done that yet. He did get dunked on hard by the first witness. Second witness, a little nervous.
You just stated
This lady's doing great.
that before the interaction with the person that you had, didn't know him. That be fair to say?
Yes, that's fair to say.
Yeah, she's going to handle this guy.
So how could you refer to him by name if you didn't know him?
He thinks this is a good point.
I
It's
have
obviously
seen the
stupid.
news since then, and the video of you being arrested and you had since been
Nice.
identified on TV.
So
Thank
that's
you.
how you came to the name.
That's
Mhm.
correct.
So it'd be fair to say that you got that off of news reports.
That's correct.
She just said that. He's going to ask dumb questions because that's what he does, but he's not going to play a glove on her.
Like he didn't know where he was. Would that be fair to say?
That's correct.
And how would you characterize disoriented?
You just seemed very, very
You
nervous and that you
love
didn't
it.
know where you were.
The U is great.
You had specifically
Here it
said,
is.
I don't,
Come on.
or where am I specifically?
She's not taking a bait. She's just dunking on him.
So disoriented would from your perspective be exactly what?
Disoriented as you did not know where you were.
Yeah, she already answered that. You, bro. You. She basically has the lasers coming out of her eyes at him. He's not touching her. I can't believe there's no bingo yet, though. It's crazy. Not what I expected. I thought it would be about 10 minutes, maybe. It's close. If I had started when court
And you
started,
made
it
reference
would be
to,
over.
Your phone being used, right?
That's correct.
Mm-hmm.
And you also made reference to not being able to hear the person on the other line.
That's correct.
But you also made reference to not the person who used your phone not being able or not answering what was being asked to them. That'd be fair to say?
Objection. That's a complex question, vague, unclear.
Nice.
To the form of question.
If you couldn't hear what was being said on the other end of the line, how can you say that there was questions being asked?
Well, there was clearly a conversation going on, and you just kept repeating, just call me an Uber. You were very
Nice.
frustrated.
You.
And whoever was asking questions of you didn't just to call you an Uber. It's just my interpretation of it. I could not hear the other end of the phone conversation.
Nice.
Would it be fair to say you don't know what was being discussed?
Besides call me an Uber, yes, that's correct.
Nice. She should have let this lady off the stand. What's he doing here?
Do you recall the description you gave in your written statement?
Hey, thanks. I really appreciate that.
Yes, I believe so.
I really do.
You believe so?
Yes, I recall the description I gave.
And what was that?
The description I gave
Of you.
was an African American male, about 160 pounds, 5'8", wearing a red t-shirt, no shoes.
Nice. This queen is not going to be deposed by this nut. Sorry. You can stare at it all you want. You're not laying a glove on her. So he's got these intentional counts of murder. So I thought he might try to argue intent, and he still may do that because it's a potential life sentence. He's got first-degree reckless homicide too, and that's up to 60 years. So I really thought he might go with the theory of, yeah, it was me driving it, but the truck was out of control or
you said
accelerator stuck or something stupid. But he keeps trying to dispute these people's accounts that they even met him, which is dumb. Nobody's believing he wasn't there.
I saw you approach us
That's all you.
at the very start of the block from between two houses.
Laser time. She just burned him.
Any reason why that's not in your written statement?
I don't recall. I didn't actually write it. There was a detective at our house that was writing the statement for it. Maybe that part got missed. I'm not sure.
Exactly. Thank you. Can you imagine being her kid? She's not going to take any nonsense. You can't fool her or trip her up. You need to toe the line.
Was it his statement?
I don't have it in front of me to see it.
Permission to show the witness written statement?
Lord.
Well, I don't know that it's necessary, Your Honor. She hasn't expressed any inability to recall.
Exactly.
She did. She just said she don't know why something was not in her.
That's not a failure to recall.
What she said is she doesn't know why the detective didn't write it. And
She's very solid.
The one who wrote it.
Love that Hubble telescope lens on the camera back there.
So where
This guy's a good 6 feet away.
Let me answer. Sustained is to the form of the
You
question.
can take a picture of a molecule on the back of the DA's head.
So the officer was writing what you told him, or did you actually write it yourself?
She just
I
said
didn't
she didn't
actually
write
write
it.
it myself. The detective was writing it as we were speaking, my husband and I.
Frustration is mounting. The dunking is getting harder.
Do you recall that?
Let her go.
name?
No, I do not.
I wonder if they leaked this bingo card to Darrell Brooks so that he could avoid triggering it as quickly as we thought he would. Does he have a copy of the bingo card right there? He's marking himself. I can't tell.
Reference to
Does have his objection sign that's laminated, and that's important
Seeing a
for the
car
objection,
swerve
written objection to be legal. It has to be laminated.
Swerving toward you.
It was like a car that was out of control. I didn't know which direction it was headed.
And you said you saw it.
So the queen saw it go over the barricades, and then she saw the king officer who testified last week shoot at the guy, which is awesome.
Through the barricade, describe that.
The car sped up and drove straight through the barricade and continued on West Avenue.
You recall if this barricade was standing up or?
I do not recall that. I was in the middle of the road to traffic from coming through, so I don't know if it was, I would assume it was standing up.
What?
And was it at that same moment that you saw officer fire shots?
That's correct.
Do you recall how many shots?
3 shots.
We'll never commit a crime in front of this woman.
Did you see if the shots?
And if I do, I just plead guilty.
The car, as you say?
No, I did not. I was running up towards the house at the time with my son in my arms, and I was just trying to keep an eye on the vehicle, so I did not see where the shots actually went.
Did you see a vehicle hit anyone?
No, I did not.
You know, even being near this like she was, but knowing what happened to everyone and seeing everything that happened after that, and then having encountered this murderer, it had to be hard mentally. And yet here she is, strong as a rock, telling her story, staying within it, and just telling the truth.
Could you see into the vehicle when you saw it?
No, I could not.
Galileo is still in the courtroom with his telescope. I wonder if that grandmother on the right above, with her head floating above the box, is the extra deputy or what she's doing there. Yeah, the Viking beard dude was awesome. That's the king right there. He just kept saying, you. I was
West
shooting
Avenue,
at
correct.
you.
Did you see where it went from there, or did it just go straight down West Avenue?
It continued on West Avenue. I was at one point, the house was blocking the road, so I couldn't see where the vehicle continued on.
Yeah, so they put the king Viking on Friday, and now they've got this queen on, and he can't do anything but stand there and get dunked on. Sit there, I guess is what he's doing now, and get dunked on. Even the laminated objection sign can't save him. It's going to come to you. The right question, it'll get you off. It's just there. Maybe the next line. Come on. Rub those 2 brain cells together. You can do it.
Anything else stick out to you about that day?
Did anything stick out to you? There it is, Clarence Darrow.
I
Look at her.
don't know. I mean, besides seeing the vehicle and the police firing shots,
Yeah,
and running into afterwards. I mean,
anything else though.
Strange enough.
I thought, yeah, that's normal. Anything stick out?
What day you gave the statement?
Not
The
exactly.
same night, or was it a few days after, or a week, or?
It might have been up to a week later.
Okay.
I don't know the exact date.
I don't think I haven't heard any mention of a time limit, but also remember this is a criminal trial, so
I
there
don't
could
know.
be
I
serious issues with
received
that.
a phone call
She would
from
just
a
arbitrarily
detective
limit it.
probably almost a week later. I would assume that they had a lot of other
The judge is being very careful,
people to
bending over
attend to, other
backwards for this
witnesses to
nut,
get to.
to not
It
enable
wasn't a
some kind of
priority at
stupid
the time.
appeal to overturn a
wasn't.
conviction if it comes. So she's tolerating a lot. I mean, he doesn't have any inherent right to do things on his own behalf that lawyers can't do, but he is behaving in ways that a lawyer wouldn't be allowed to.
Correct.
All the stupid things he does.
Before today, had you seen any of the video footage or photos that you saw today, have you seen any of those before today?
Are you talking about
This
the
lady is so
video of
calm. There's
being
not
arrested,
even
or
one
I guess I
bead
don't
of sweat
understand the
that is even
question.
thought about
Well,
forming
the
on any
videos
part of
that
her body. She's
the video
completely
footage that
cool
you
and
saw
collected
today,
and dunking on this idiot.
had you seen that before today?
I did see the Aries Industries clip for, yes.
What about the other exhibit that was shown?
I recognize that from a ring video I had seen from the arrest.
Nice. Remember when they arrested you for killing everybody? That's when I saw it. She's staying focused, but she's thinking many things she'd like to say. But she's doing her job. Good, decent people coming in doing what they have to do with the trauma they've been through. Just telling the truth. That's all she's here to do. Back to her life
So
soon.
it'd be fair to say a lot of what you learned came from news reports.
No,
After the incident, yes.
she knew enough. How can he claim he wasn't the one who talked to her? It's just dumb. I don't get where he's going with this ridiculous defense. And someone said earlier, maybe he doesn't either. He's just throwing everything out there. The grandmother's looking very disappointed in this. She is not happy. Nice. Very efficient use of time here.
Did you make any claim in this matter?
Oh, no, not this. This is when you know he's about to wrap up, though.
What kind of a claim?
Have
Thank
you
you.
filed any claim?
I got her. Just
No.
total disgust at this point.
You filed a complaint?
I just gave a witness statement to the detectives. I didn't file a complaint specifically.
Thank you.
About what time did you learn that you could possibly testify in this matter?
What time?
Vince, overruled, you may answer.
I received a subpoena in the mail from the DA's office.
Yeah, but what time did you get
Whose
it?
name was on that subpoena?
Sue Upper.
Do you see Sue Upper in court today?
Yes, I do.
You put her out for the jury?
Stipulate.
I'll stipulate, Your Honor.
Thank you. Record will reflect the stipulation and the witness identifying Attorney Upper.
Do you recall around what time you received that subpoena?
I don't recall exactly. No.
What time? You know, if it's after 5, it's not valid. It has to be during business hours. So, great point he's trying to bring up. So, never open your subpoena envelope before 5. Or if you do, call Darrell Brooks. He'll help you.
After you received the subpoena, did you follow up with the district attorney's office at that point?
They contacted me.
Attorney Opper did?
Someone, it was someone from the witness. I don't know what her exact title is. It's someone from the DA's office. It's not specific to Sue Upper.
It's a totally pointless question. Totally pointless.
So can you repeat the question?
Was it like witness advocate?
I don't know what her exact title is.
Thank you.
You recall her name?
Yeah, yes, her name is Carrie.
See, this lady's not letting him force her or bully her into changing what she's saying or saying things beyond what she knows. She's staying within her knowledge. It's good.
After you learned of the additional information, did you read any police reports or a complaint?
No.
I think she's doing very well to be being questioned by a mass murderer. But this slow pace is making a slow live stream. Again, I've got 4 this way, only lacking subject matter jurisdiction.
Are
4
you
this
aware
way, nor do I
who the
know
plaintiff
anyone
may be
by
in
that
this
name.
matter?
Objection, irrelevant.
Sustained.
We knocked out the grounds in the first minute. All of them. Missed the for the record, but someone else got it, and they're shy on Admiralty Court, but I think you won't hear that unless we end up in a break. Maybe subject matter jurisdiction is missed too until another break.
Ever been notified who the plaintiff is in this matter?
Objection,
Grounds.
irrelevant.
Sustained.
Grounds for the sustain, Your Honor.
Grounds for the sustain.
Please.
Do you even know if there's a plaintiff in this matter?
Yes, there is.
And who's the plaintiff?
I believe it's the state of Wisconsin.
Thank you.
Would that constitute a breathing human being or entity?
Objection.
Argumentative, irrelevant.
Grounds.
Sustained.
Grounds. It's insane.
Are you aware that only a human being can bring
That's ridiculous.
a complaint or be a plaintiff?
Objection, misstatement of the law.
Sustained.
Only a living human being can do that, not a murder victim. So he should never be punished. That's a great, great legal strategy. Let's see if it pays off. He's been terrible. He is terrible normally on his cross-exam, but these have been particularly stupid and bad. Kind of very low energy situation. Maybe he had a hard weekend.
Ever had any interaction with the state of Wisconsin?
Objection, relevant.
Sustained.
Grounds for
Sir,
the
under 90611, please. Move on.
9611, the most cited piece of code in Wisconsin that we've never actually looked up ourselves. But move on.
Have you ever contacted the state of Wisconsin in this matter?
Objection,
Grounds.
irrelevant.
Sustained.
Grounds for the sustain.
Under 90611, move on, or I'll declare the cross-examination.
Okay, you're about to get closed down.
Of course you would.
Of course you would.
No
That's it.
further questions.
God, come on, Brooks.
Nothing further. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, ma'am. You may step down. This will also be a very good opportunity to take a
All right, let's see if we
mid-morning
get a break here.
break. I'll rise for jury, please. For the parties,
Here
please
it
be
goes.
back in 10 minutes. We are in recess.
Right.
So we're on break, and I have thank you for that donation, but I don't have bingo and not aware of anybody hitting it yet. It does at least put a little sense around the nonsense he's spewing out. I've got 2 lines that are only 1 away. I think someone else has another line that's only 1 away. I didn't think this would happen. I thought for sure that this would be over at this point. They wouldn't be talking about this nut. But I agree about she's a great witness and better person than maybe or maybe not than you, but certainly a better person than many people. She did look straight at him, and so did the witness. First this morning was great. He looked at him and said, you and I looked at each other. I know it's you, which he kept disputing. What do you mean by you? And he did similar here. She just stayed direct, confident, and then what she knew, a really good witness. All 3 of them good witnesses. He made a good argument for bringing the death penalty back. I don't understand this crime. I really don't get why he did what he did. And to me, that's his motive isn't so important. But his intent is important because he has intentional first degree homicide charges, which are life, and then he has reckless, which are term of prison years. Now, of course, he's facing, I think, like 70 some charges or whatever. So maybe it really doesn't matter too much, but um, nevertheless, they want to get him on intentional homicide, which is what he should get. And I thought that he would drive an argument that because so many people saw him and it's so clear that it was him, he would say, well, my truck malfunctioned, or I thought malfunctioned, or it was stuck in gear, and try and make that his defense. But if you were doing that, you would think when some of the witnesses were testifying that were directly either injured or their children were injured or their friends were injured or these people that horrific injuries, that you would demonstrate some level of sympathy or empathy towards those people or towards the victims. And other than that, once when he pretended to need a minute to collect himself, he hasn't done that. He's been fairly aggressive to the people who went through the trauma. So maybe, I don't know why he did what he did, but his mindset now doesn't demonstrate to me that he has a level of humanity that was only temporarily absent when he did that. He seems to be consistent with a person who did do that. There's not a mental change there that I can see because his behavior doesn't support it. So he gets what he gets. I probably shouldn't say on the stream what I think the punishment would be, but life in prison, which is what they could give him, is clearly what they did give him. And he's choosing to put these people through this. He knows he did it, and he knows he's going to be convicted. I don't think he can really believe silly arguments matter. He didn't get the trial delayed, so he's choosing to force people to go through this again and relive it again, and that's obscene as well. But there have been a lot of people that it was hard for them to testify, but they have done their duty and showed up. They're clearly telling the truth in this matter. Things that for them to remember. It's awful. It's very bad. So I hate that they're going through it, and I hate to treat it with any silliness. Except this guy is silly. His defense is silly. His tactic of thinking, well, if I get rid of my attorneys, that I could get the trial delayed, didn't succeed with this judge. And then his tactic, well, if I say any strange sovereign citizen nonsense that I can come up with at various times, that he's going to be able to generate some kind of appeal that shows that he wasn't competent to represent himself. That's not going to work either. He's making the choices that he's making. The judge is handling it, generally speaking, very well. Personally, I would have lost patience before she did, but that's a judgment. What is she? She is a judge. And what she's trying to do is more than one thing. And one is give him a fair trial. That's what he's entitled to. It's due process. So that's what she's trying to do. The second thing she's trying to do is not create a situation where he would have any real basis for an appeal based on how she's treating him or her ruling or how she conducts court. So she has been reluctant to kick him out when she doesn't have to, especially now that the trial has really started with witness testimony, even with some of his lunatic outbursts. She's tried to limit her curative instructions or commentary back to him while the jury is there, although she does clarify that what he's saying is a statement of the law or not testimony. She's being very reserved. I mean, imagine if an attorney were behaving the way he's behaving, they would be in contempt by now. They'd be completely shut down. So he's being allowed to go well beyond what his attorneys could have done if they'd stayed in the case with his behavior. But there is the dual purpose there of a fair trial, which when you have a nut like that who wants to represent himself, they're not going to behave exactly like an attorney would. And then secondly, not generating any basis for anybody to come along, because there would be people who would do it and help him try and get out of prison for this, even though he clearly did it. And I think those resources are better utilized to help people who perhaps could be wrongfully convicted or there was an actual due process issue, and not this guy wasting everyone's time and putting the community through trauma again by what he's doing. So let's see what people are saying here. Yeah, good point. He can blame the car. It was an escape. And hello back to Denmark. He's contested that car a lot. He says, well, why do you call it a car if it's an SUV? I don't know. I kind of agree with him on that. Like, what do they do up there? But I think people in Wisconsin talk a lot differently than we do here in the South. I wouldn't call a truck a car. But I don't know that I'd call a lot of SUVs a truck either, because, we got a lot of real soft SUVs out there that are really just fans, hyped up to sound like they're SUVs. But I'm not saying that about the Escape in this case. But I'm not sure, again, and people have said in the comments before, which I agree, that he even knows what his line of defense will be. Is it going to be, well, you can't prove it was me? Or is it going to be, well, it wasn't me? Or is it going to be, well, it was me, but my truck was malfunctioning? Or it was me, but for, whatever reason, I wasn't mentally coherent enough to control my actions at that point. Those are, certainly logic points his attorneys would have tried to develop and decide which narrative they would want to throw out there. Because I don't think you can sustain any argument to the jury that this wasn't the guy on the scene in the truck. There's too much evidence that it was him. So when he contests that, and it's obviously true, it's not helpful to whatever other defense he wants to raise. I think you want a consistent narrative, generally speaking, whichever side of the case you're on. And motive is an element of the crime that he's charged with, at least for intentional homicide or reckless. But his intent is an element, and that's what I thought maybe he would try and go after. And I don't know if he had all the sovereign citizen nonsense before he was arrested for this, or if it's what he came across as he was preparing to defend himself, just as he can say. Some of it is pure nonsense, and some of it allows him to object to almost every question with stupid objections that are, to me, clearly meant to disrupt the flow of the prosecution and the witness. So when you say, did you see a truck? And he says, hearsay. I mean, come on. So he's doing it to disrupt these people and make this worse for them to the degree that he can get away with it. I thought the other day when he started really going off these crazy arguments that he made change his behavior since he was unsuccessful in getting the trial delayed to become even crazier, trying to push the judge in ways to see if he could get her to make a mistake that could favor him on an appeal if he's convicted or cause the trial to be greatly disrupted. But I've seen some comments which I agree with. He generally behaves obviously differently when the jury's in the room. He has created this new technique of arguing as the jury's coming back into the room, or when they're leaving. He will continue an argument when they're coming back in to try and act like that there's some important matter that was being discussed outside of their presence that he wants them to know, and the judge wants to hide this fact from him. But I don't think he's clever enough to fool anyone. You never know what a jury is going to do. You would never, ever know for sure what a jury is going to do. Only they know what they're going to do. So that's a terrifying thing, that he's at a trial where there could be someone who thinks, well, he didn't do it on purpose or this, that, or there. But, odds of that are like 1 million or something, maybe. This guy's going to go to prison at the end of this. So we'll say again that, he deferred his opening statement, I believe, at the beginning of this trial. So that's when I thought, when I wanted to hear that, was, well, what's his narrative going to be to the jury? What's he going to say the evidence is going to show? What's his story? And that did happen. And I would imagine, although I haven't looked it up, that he would have the chance to do that at the close of the state's case. Maybe he'd make an opening statement that I don't think it's waived completely. So in theory, in case the opening statements are not arguments, they're going to be a forecast of the evidence. It's kind of a chance to put a narrative out there, but it's fairly limited in that you're supposed to be forecasting the evidence that supports it. So it's a statement. And then when you get to the end, you have a closing argument, and you're allowed to then make an argument that characterizes things, that says things that are not evidence, but are arguments about the case itself. So keep that in mind. So if you do see that opening statement, it probably would be from him an argument. It's a point missed by a lot of people anyway, and that he'll probably get more leeway than a lawyer would do that. And it would probably be completely insane. I just don't know if he's going to do it or not. Yes, the speed was inconsistent with intent, and the shooting was warning pedestrians. I have heard him make that argument that there was a horn going off, so that could come to this kind of defense at some point in what he's doing, of saying, "Hey, I was in the truck, but this thing's out of control, and I was beeping the horn. I was actually trying to dodge everybody. I accidentally ended up in the parade route, and this thing took off kind of by itself, and I didn't want anything bad to happen, and I was in shock after it happened. That's why I called for an Uber, because I was terrified, and that was wrong." But it hasn't been consistent with that narrative, because he keeps disputing that these people even saw him, and who's the you you're talking about. I don't consent to that name. And that detracts from a coherent defense, I think. So he's throwing everything out there, it strikes me, and not narrowing his narrative to something that you can really get your mind around. So I believe that, and I just glanced at the statutes this morning, so I didn't really look up the elements of just to see what he was actually charged with. I figured it would be everything, and it kind of is almost everything. And he is charged with intentional first-degree homicide, so they would need to show that he had intent to do that. But they have every kind of lesser included offense under that. and he could be convicted of any kind of thing, and it would be a lot of years behind any of that. But he should be convicted, in my opinion, for intentional homicide, because that's what he did, and he should go to prison for the rest of his natural life. So the sovereign citizen argument, I think, depends a little bit in terms of how much objecting there would be in the closing argument, because he can't misstate the law intentionally during a closing argument. You're not supposed to be able to do that. The jury is the decider of the facts, and the judge is the decider of the law and tells what the law is. And if you sit there and start saying things that are completely contrary to the law, they could, in my opinion, object to that. How much objecting they do probably depends on just how crazy and bonkers he appears to be coming across, because sometimes you want to feed that rope out and let somebody tangle themselves up in it. But they have been objecting so far on this and not letting it go too far with these witnesses. This garbage about subject matter jurisdiction and the complaint and plaintiff, and only a breathing person can have a complaint in a criminal case and that sort of thing. So I would think they would object to that. If he leads with that, his argument, or even his opening statement, if he makes one, and does that early, then there would be a pretty good fight on, and I think the jury would be taken out. And I don't know that he could successfully get through an argument if he's going to insist on mischaracterizing and misstating the law. That's my opinion. I'm not a criminal attorney, and so I don't practice there, so I don't know how they do it there exactly and what the tendencies of the prosecution would be. They've let this guy have more leeway than I feel like it would have for some witnesses. It would have maybe defended them more with more objections and things, but I also understand they're making a judgment to let the jury see just what kind of person is over there at the defendant's table, and also let this thing get done so that they can get the witnesses off the stand. And it seems to be whenever he starts talking, have you seen the complaint? Did you file a complaint? You know, the plaintiff, that's when he's wrapping up a witness. And a lot of objections come, and then the person gets to finally go home again. So if you are coming in late here, the bingo situation is, at least I've got 2 ways to win. If I get one more, which is nor do I know anyone by that name, which is as part of as a claim, that would do it for me, and in a subject matter jurisdiction. And I feel like if the judge had let him talk a little more there, this could have ended. It may have to end at some point anyway, but I did want to see if somebody was going to figure this out. So I haven't looked at the jury situation there. I'll do that before I come back to this case the next time and see how many people they got and what their story is. I imagine it's unanimous for this kind of case, and I don't know how many people they have on it. I'll look and see after it's over. The U.S. judicial system can get crazy. That is true. He does have a right to represent himself, and there was early, or in his case, his attorneys were trying to proffer an insanity defense, and that's different than also an incompetent situation. So you could be sane at the time you committed the crime, but then be incompetent to stand trial, maybe you banged your head or something and you can't understand what's going on. They would put the trial off.
Seated. State have the next witness.
But if you're competent to stand trial, then there's a little bit more inquiry as to whether you're competent to represent yourself or not. You satisfy the court to that. You don't have to be good at it. Okay. So we're back to the trial. We'll see if we can get some bingo going here. What's up?
Not yet. Now it is.
All right, we're back in the game.
I gotta get faster on that.
Yep.
Yeah, Americans love to sue people. We sue a lot of lawsuits.
Still has yet to be proven for the record.
Oh God, I think I missed it. He's talking about subject matter jurisdiction, and my big mouth may cost me this bingo.
Is that a judicial determination that you don't have to answer that, Your Honor?
Mr. Brooks, I've already answered subject matter jurisdiction.
Thank
know
you.
that full well.
No, I don't.
Ladies and gentlemen, I do have
I know
a bingo
nothing.
here.
It has yet to be proved. That's what
I've
I
got
know.
grounds. I do
Doesn't
not
need to
consider
be
being called that name.
It does.
Space.
It has to be proven by the
And grounds
prosecution. You
and
know
subject
that.
matter jurisdiction.
I actually know to the contrary, so we're not going to address
So show me lawful law.
I
that
won't
is-
declare
that
it a
says
victory
that-
in case somebody in the comments or somewhere else got it
No.
faster than I did. They just haven't said so, but I am self-satisfied as attorneys
You
often
don't have to
are
do that.
that I have successfully
have her
completed
print-
the bingo card that I made up.
No,
That's not
have her
any kind
print
of
off proof.
super victory, but
Have her print off proof that you have subject matter jurisdiction.
Dale
How
Brooks
about that?
is disputing my victory.
It has to be proven
Mr.
for the
Brooks,
record. It has
you
yet
are
to be
simply
proven.
wrong as a matter of
No,
law.
I'm
The
not.
judge is
If I'm
agreeing
wrong,
that I got
then
it.
Show me that I'm wrong.
I've
Exactly.
given you the constitutional and
No,
the
you haven't.
statutory authority.
No,
and
you
the
have
case law.
not. You have not proven it on the record.
It doesn't need to be proven, sir.
It does need to be
Nice,
proven.
another bingo.
I believe the jury's coming in.
All right.
Right, here, let's see if
I
he does a
believe
little
it.
arguing.
You gotta prove it. You gotta prove subject matter jurisdiction.
So maybe make up a new bingo card for
Safe and
another
value,
day of the
return for
trial.
Value, that document is not.
There's a
proof,
few
it's
that I didn't get that he
jurisdiction.
likes to say,
For the
except for
record.
value, return for value, judicial determination. He calls it tacit agreement. I think he's trying to say tacit agreement, which is also some sovereign citizen nonsense. All right, guys. Well, the bingo is over. So if you want to keep watching this case, I invite you to do it on one of the primary streaming channels, or there's probably a lawyer doing very interesting commentary on it. I got to do some real life stuff, but what I usually
Thank
do
you,
with this
everyone.
thing
Please
is
be
listen to it
seated.
in the background just because it is so,
State may call its next witness.
it is so
St. Paul
bananas.
Anthony
I will
Winters.
declare this
All right.
header here.
Good morning, sir. If you would please make your way to the
And-
witness stand.
And
which is
appreciate
on my
everybody
right.
that tuned
It is
in.
upper
And
riser.
this was successful for
When you
reclusive
get there,
Luddite like
please
myself to
remain
actually get a
standing.
live stream
Raise your
off.
right
So
hand.
thanks for coming by.
Mics
Thanks.
are